Happy Tuesday, everyone. This is Lori Bradley. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Louis, Missouri. And I am here today for our Lunch with Lori, our usual Tuesday lunchtime where we have a free online class. And today I had a little snafu. I wanted to show you the Spotlight on Nature bundle, which is amazing. But it is so amazing that the stamp set has sold out temporarily during the 10% off sale. And so I had to switch gears a little bit at the last minute, which was kind of alarming for me. So I'm running a couple minutes behind, so I apologize. But thanks for joining me if you're watching today. So I switched gears. Sometimes you have to do that. I believe the word that Stampin' Up! Uses is pivot, and I had to pivot this morning. And so instead of using Spotlight on Nature, we are going to use the Thoughtful Wishes bundle, which is also a great bundle. I just had to switch my order of things that I'm showing you. It's a stamp set that has a stamp set and dies, and we're going to use both today, but it also is part of a great suite. Let me really quick show you the suite. The suite itself is not on sale, but the suite has the bundle with the dies and the stamp set, and the bundle is $55.75. So right now it is under $50, so it is on sale 10% off. There's the adhesive back pearls, which are very pretty. I have a package of those. They're nice and shiny. We're not using these today. I just wanted to show those to you. There is some specialty designer paper that has the colors of the DSP in it. And then there's the Designer Series paper, which is a 6x6 pack, and it is also very pretty. So we're just going to use, we're going to use one of our cards is going to use the Designer Series paper, and the other ones are going to use the bundle. So let's get started. I'm going to do 3 different cards, so we're going to make them look all a little different. Our first card is a note card, and I went simple. I'm going to start with just a white panel for our note card, and I have 2 just in case, because you all know me, this could be bad, and so I always want to be prepared just in case. And I'm going to show you a technique, and I won't be able to show you a little bit of it because I don't have my camera turned toward me, and actually I don't have any makeup on today, so right now you probably don't want to see me. But before I start stamping, I want to show you, we're going to make a background, just a little bit of Petunia Pop, and Petunia Pop is one of the new in colors. And we're going to use our blending brush, and we're just going to make a very light background. And I've got a line, so you never want to start on your paper. And if I had a scrap here, I would show you why. Let me show you why you don't want to start directly on your paper. If this is your cardstock, and you put your ink down, you have your blender brush and you have your ink on it, and you start here to go across, you can see you have this big blob, and that is not what we want. We want to avoid that. So to avoid that, we are going to take our ink and we're going to start off of our paper. We're going to start just off, and we're going to just do some Petunia Pop very, very lightly across, probably corner to corner. I'm going to turn it because that's just an easier angle for me. And we're just going to go across and put some Petunia Pop onto our card. And it doesn't have to be super dark. I just want a little bit of color kind of as a background. Just like that. And I use the backside actually of my paper because the way the cutter leaves it, it has a little bit of an edge, but I think that'll be okay. So then if you wanted more color, you could come back in and add just across there like that. But we're going to stop right there. We're going to leave that. And we're going to make this one. I went with some of the colors from the Designer Series paper, but we're not actually using the Designer Series paper for this card. But I'm going to use Pretty Peacock and that was the Petunia Pop. That's the only 2 colors I'm going to use for this. And I'm going to go ahead and it's going to be a cute little thank you card, and I'm going to stamp thanks right on it. And if I put my sentiment on first, then I can put my other pieces on there so that they fit nicely. But I want my sentiment to fit, so that's where I'm going to start. I'm a little close, so I'm going to stand up. we'll just do our thanks right there. Hopefully I got it straight. Oh, it's a little crooked. Okay, so let's try again because I'm a perfectionist. You wouldn't think so by watching me, but really, it does bother me. So let's do this again. I'm gonna do the same thing. If it doesn't work the second time, we're just gonna go with it because nobody's got time for that. Your lunch hour is only 30 minutes probably. You're thinking, hurry up, Lori, I wanna get this done. Cannot believe that it is already June 18th, that the month of June is flying by. I feel like summer is half over. Trying to work on vacation plans, and like, oh, it's August when our vacation is, and that is way sooner than what I think. I'm gonna put this a little closer to me and stamp it that way, so that way I can actually see. There we go. All right, so I've got my thanks. Then I am going to color, this is one of the stamp set images, and it's I think that's called Thistle. And usually when you see it in a field, it's dark green, and then the flowery things are a purple color. So that's why I chose the Petunia Pop. And we are going to, if you haven't ever done this, this is fun. We're going to do huffing, not to be confused with illegal activities. But I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock marker, and I'm going to color on the stamp. It's a cling stamp. You can do this on cling. You're not supposed to do this on photopolymer, but I think people do. And we're just going to color the leaves, where the leaves go on the back of the stamp set. I'm going to color those like this. Just using the side of my marker, working my way down. This is a great technique if you have flowers like this one, where you want the stem to be green and the flower to be red or yellow or Petunia Pop, whatever your color choice might be. Right, and then I'm going to take my Petunia Pop marker, and these are just the Stampin' Write markers. They're not the blends, they're just a marker. And I'm going to color the thistle part. Just do the same thing on the sides. And this won't be perfect, and that's okay. It's more of a watercolory sort of look. Color all my flowers. Now it starts to dry. So what you're going to do, and this is the part you can't see me, and I apologize for this, but I'm going to pick up my stamp and I'm going to breathe on it. And that's why it's called huffing, because the moisture from your breath, will re-moisten those stamps. So I'm going to pick it up, and you can literally hear me go on my stamp, and that's enough to re-moisten it, and we're going to stamp that onto our card. Like that. I didn't get it quite as much on that, so we might take our marker and we might just draw in a little bit of thistle there, just to make it look like it belongs with the other ones. All right, and I can color in a little bit of those to make them a little darker so that they match. All right, I'm going to do it again so that I have another one right here. Only do the top section though, because I'm not going to do the whole thing. So again, just take your marker on its side, go down, all the way down the stem. I'm going to take good care to make sure that my flowers are inky. My ink, my marker, the color looks a little funny, so I'm not sure that it doesn't have a little from the factory problem, but I'm not going to worry about that because we can easily fix that. So I'm going to make sure that my flowers on this side are markered really nicely. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to huff on the back of the stamp. And I'm going to stamp this one a little lower. There's no right or wrong. Make sure we get our flowers. There we go. All right, now I am going to take my light Pretty Peacock blend, and I'm just going to color in those leaves a little bit. And again, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect because it's sort of a watercolory type look. So just color those leaves in. And we did that petunia pop with the blending brush, which makes it a little bit, just a little bit of a background. Probably could have done a blue to make it look like a sky, but I just went ahead with the petunia pop so that it all sort of blended together. I used the light Pretty Peacock blend so that the color of the leaves, since we used the dark marker, the leaves have some definition to them. Just a little bit of color. And there you have it. Simple but elegant. And then we're going to go ahead, and this doesn't matter because this is on the back and we don't need that. Close my ink pads because you know what happens when I don't. Now we're going to use our adhesive. We're going to go ahead and put our card together. I'm going to use just regular Stampin' Seal. I always think sometimes that note cards are a little plain, especially if I go to the card store. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to get in trouble. But the cards that are just plain little cards and they're so expensive. So expensive. All right. So we can bling this up just a little bit. I don't want to make it too thick because the envelopes are a little bit tight, but I want to show you one other thing. We had this discussion at one of my classes last week about which way to fold your paper. And so you'll notice on a note card, or after you've scored, that this part is raised. You can see the little bit of raise in the score mark, and then if you look on the other side, it's sort of the valley side. So your inclination usually is to fold into the valley, but actually you want to fold the opposite way because when you score, you've already broken those fibers just a little bit, so it makes it easier to fold the other way, which seems a little counterintuitive, but that is the correct way to fold your cards. So just in case you didn't know that, or if you have trouble getting your score lines to fold nicely, that is why, or maybe one of the reasons why. My husband just came out of the corner in his office, and he always gets threatened. I ask him beforehand, do you need any ice? Because one time I was doing my Facebook Live, and he came through and got his ice. So out of the ice maker, which, as you probably know, makes a loud noise. So I heard him walk quietly through, so hopefully you didn't hear his loud footsteps. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of bling, and I'm going to use the In Color Shimmer Gems, and I'm going to use the Petunia Pop. The other gem that would work, and I didn't bring this over to my table, there's a Pretty Peacock and Gold, which would also be pretty. Actually, let me grab those and we'll see which one you prefer. So we have the Petunia. If you're watching, let me know which one you prefer. There's the Petunia Pop. We can use those. And then these are the Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock foiled gems, which have a little bit of gold in them, which are also very pretty. So those are the Pretty Peacock. Does anyone have an opinion? Do you have a preference on which one you think I should use? If not, I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and use the Sweet Sorbet. Oh my goodness, Sweet Sorbet went away. Petunia Pop gems, only because the package is already open, and that way I can save these for another use. Sometimes that's how I decide things. Just if it's already open, let's just use that one. All right, so I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool, and that's how I like to pick up my gems. And let's see, let's go. Put as many as you want, of course. Bling, no bling. And kind of the rule of thumb is to use odd numbers. So odd numbers are perfect. So I'm going to choose 3 for this one. It's just a note card. And there you have it. It's just a pretty little card that I'm sure someone would love to get in the mail. All right, so card number 1. Let's move to card number 2. Card number 2 is a little bit, hi Robin, how are you? Thanks for joining me today. I miss you, actually, a lot. I am a little bit out of my comfort zone with this one because I'm going for a color that I don't typically use on my cards. I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. And for this one, I am actually going to use the Designer Series paper. And you have to wish me luck for this one because I am going to stamp directly on the Designer Series paper, and I did not cut 2. So hopefully I get this straight. I'll go ahead and fold my card base. All right, so I have used the embossing folder, and I used the Mosaic Tile embossing folder that's in the catalog, and I just did a little strip, and we're just gonna make it look sort of like a book binding, but it's gonna be a little faux book binding. It's just the same color, so I'm gonna put that piece down first. I'm just going to line that up so that, there's a little bit of a border around, just like that. Then I'm going to add this piece of design. I should show you the Designer Series paper. It's all so pretty. And we're just going to make the same type border around the edge. I'm going to use my liquid glue for this one because I can move it if I screw it up. But the liquid glue just has a little bit of give. If you use tape runner, that's a hard one to do. Last night we used tear and tape on our club cards on one section, and someone tried to move move their piece, and let's just say it did not work and the paper ripped. So if you use the liquid glue, you can move those. All right, so this is simple. Oh my goodness, I forgot to stamp it though. You didn't stop me. You didn't say, Lori, do that before you screw it up. So again, even more so, I'm gonna hope that it works. I'm just gonna take Mossy Meadow ink, and I'm gonna use the Thinking of You Fondly stamp. Oh man, now I'm nervous because this could be bad. Because the other side, I can't turn it over. We would just put a new piece on. Makes me nervous. I did it. I got it straight. Whew. All right. My blood pressure probably just went up. Okay, now just to add a little bit to this one, I'm going to use linen thread. Linen thread is probably my favorite embellishment because it is versatile. You can put it on darker colors, you can put it on bright colors, you can make it however you want. And I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times. See if I can do this. See how well I do this. I practiced this and I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be a disaster. And actually, I'm going to take the easy route. I'm going to make a knot. So I wrapped it around twice, and you'll be able to see it from the inside, but as long as you pull it pretty taut, it shouldn't be a problem on the inside. And since I'm not a good bow tire, I'm going to just take I'm going to make a knot here. Like that. And so the inside will be okay as long as it's together. And for this one, honestly, I would put a white panel. I didn't bring white panels to my desk. I say my desk, my white table here that I'm using. And then we're just going to tie a bow, not a knot. Today's a bow. And since it's a little bit loose, I'm going to take a glue dot. Normally I don't put them on my fingers. I'm going to take my finger, kind of roll it up just a little bit, and put it underneath the knot so that it stays put where I want it. I want it to be right there. Put it underneath my bow. And there you have it. Just a nice, pretty card. Like I said, Mossy Meadow is not my usual color scheme, but I thought it was pretty. Let me grab my designer series paper. It is also right here. I should have everything handy. Or maybe I've told a lie. I have told a lie. I don't think. Oh, no. My paper is not right here. I'm not going to make you wait again, so I'm not going to show you the paper. But if you would like to see it, I can post pictures of that because it's so pretty. So pretty. I was not encouraged, motivated at our last all-day event. One of my ladies was, she cut pieces of the paper and made card fronts so that all she had to do was come in later and make, put sentiments on it so she could decide later if she wanted to say thinking of you or happy birthday or with sympathy, whatever that might work. Or whatever sentiment she needed at the time. So I thought that was very impressive. Okay, card number 3 is completely different. And I just used the dies and one of the stamps for this one. And I think I'm going to bling it up even more a little bit. But for this one, I started with a white card base, a thick white card base. I scored it at 5.5. So that's ready to go. And then I have a Petunia Pop panel just because I was kind of going with the Petunia Pop theme since I already had that out today and it's one of our new colors. So I have a black panel, Petunia Pop panel, and then I have die cut, and I left it in the die so that you could see. If you haven't used adhesive sheet, I have an adhesive sheet on the back of the black cardstock. So it actually came out very easy, but I'm going to put my trash can underneath here, and you can use your take your pick tool, and it'll come loose, or start coming loose, and you can pull, and all those little pieces. A lot of them will come loose when you pull the sheet off. Let's try that. And you just pull the back, grab a hold of it, and start to pull. And you can see that those black pieces are in there. And then you only have to push out a few. Usually those come out much easier once the panel or the adhesive sheet has been removed. I have to practice. I should have done it today, but like I said, I have no makeup on. I have to practice doing my video on film. Next week I have a class with a friend of mine from Canada, and we are doing some videos that are going to be super fun, I think, but I have to do it on camera, which makes me a little more nervous than usual. All right, I have all of my pieces cut out, and since I have the adhesive sheet on the back, then that will make it stick. So you don't have to worry about putting glue, because you certainly can't put glue on the back with one of these, and the liquid glue would be kind of messy. So I'm just going to put that down one side. Just like that, and the adhesive sheet will make that stick. A couple of the edges are not quite stuck, and that's okay. It'll stick down the middle, and that's plenty to hold it. I'm going to go ahead and put this panel down. Another fun thing to do at this point would be to run the whole thing through an embossing folder. I'm not going to do that today, but that could be a step up if you're doing that at home. And then I'm going to put my Petunia Pop panel on my black panel. All right, I have a piece of Nested Essentials. This Nested Essentials is one of my absolute favorite versatile die cuts, and then there's shapes that you can for sentiments. Like it's an easy thing to do. All right, I'm going to use Memento Black. I'm just going to use black ink, and I'm using the You Make Life Better stamp. So I can see it really quick. I'm going to stamp that right in the middle of my die cut. Definitely putting my ink away. And it's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and let's put this piece up on dimensionals. And I should have brought black ones. Black dimensionals are amazing when you have dark colored cardstock because they don't show, but since I'm putting it on the white, thick white, I think it should be okay. the black ones come in mini and large also. Like I said last week, those are probably one of my favorite inventions that they came up with. All right, so there's our panel on the front. I'm going to put this piece on dimensionals also. But before I do that, I'm going to use the sheer ribbon, the white, it's white sheer, and it has a silver edge, which I thought might make it a little fancier. And I'm going to not tie a bow, but I'm going to wrap it like I'm going to make a bow. Just like that. And it's gonna overlap our die cut, but I think the layering is okay. And for this, I'm gonna use my tape. Uh-oh. I did leave my tape. Okay, Scotch tape is the best for putting on ribbon. Just plain old tape, even the kind from the dollar store would work. And then I find that that's the easiest thing rather than using adhesive. Put that on the back, then we'll use our dimensionals. I did have 2 nested essentials cut just in case, and luckily I only needed 1. And we'll put those on. I have a little piece of the black adhesive sheet paper stuck to my finger. And then we'll just put that on there. As our focal point, and then we'll use some rhinestones. I'm just going to use plain old rhinestones, which are not plain. They're very, very pretty. What do you think? I could make them black, or I can use just the plain silver, leave them silver to look like the ribbon. Anybody have an opinion? Nobody ever gives me opinions. It's sad. So I think, you know what, we'll just go with the silver. I think I'm going to use a couple more on this one than I have on the other one. Let's see. We'll keep our odd number, but we'll go with 5 this time. Again, no rhyme or reason, just place them on your card. All right. So thoughtful wishes is very thoughtful. Ha ha ha. That was silly. Thoughtful wishes. Again, all of the bundles, all the die bundles. I did find out that the punched bundles are not 10% off. I thought they were. If I told you it was, I apologize. All of the die bundles are 10% off, which is amazing. They're already 10% off as a bundle, but then they are an additional 10% off, which makes them almost, not quite 20%, but pretty darn close to 20% off. So if there's a bundle that you're looking at, now is the time. And starting this month, I do have my new promotion that, I moved that the wrong way so you can see those. Anytime you spend $50 in a month, you'll get an invite to my Zoom Fun Fold class. And those classes will be held the beginning of the next month, after the month. So if you buy some $50 worth of merchandise in the month of June, you'll be invited to my July class. And you don't need to do anything. I will send you, each month we're going to do one Fun Fold, and I will send you 3 different cards with just different designer series paper, different colors, so you can make them look all different. So again, $50. If you spend $50 in my online store, you'll get the free Fun Fold class. But if you spend $35, I will send you the pieces for these cards today. So I will include those links if you're interested. Thank you for watching me. Next week we'll be back. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. If the Spotlight on Nature bundle is back in stock, we will do that one. If it's not, then I will figure something else out. So I hope that you all have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.